welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by Johnny Paulus. Johnny, welcome in. It is May 29th, and we are a few days away from your, I guess, debut as a solo artist at a festival. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, so
wild. The lineup is nuts.
June 2nd, we are playing a festival, musically speaking, that will have some familiar acts for those that I guess are me and Johnny's age, present. The likes of Collective Soul, Live, Filter. On different days, bands like 311 will be playing. Pretty wild stuff. So we've got opening duties, it looks like.
I think we're second on the local stage.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But we will be serenading the public as they come in and begin to get their drink on for the day.
Yep.
Or for the weekend.
Right.
So exciting things there. We've been rehearsing and all the whatnot there, but I guess besides that, Johnny, how you doing? What you got going on?
Doing good. I started a rewatch of the Aliens movies because the 44th anniversary of the first movie was a few days ago. So I watched the first one, and it's still a masterpiece. And then I watched the second one, and the second one was not as good as I had remembered. It was still good, but not... I remembered it being, like, incredible, and it didn't blow me away. And then Aliens 3 is, like, unwatchable. It's really bad. And this is a movie that I used to apologize for and go, it's okay. You know, Alien 3 is not bad. No, it's bad. It's real bad. So I think I might actually watch Resurrection, I don't know, maybe today or tomorrow. Get through the whole Aliens series here. I'm almost done. But yeah, I don't know what got into me, but I just decided to start doing the Aliens watch through again.
Indeed. Yeah, Alien, the first one.
Yeah.
I've always heralded as like my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah, it's the best sci-fi horror movie ever made, and it's one of the first sci-fi horror movies ever made. The tone is perfect. The brooding, weird synth soundtrack and the lighting and the sets, and I mean the movie's just still holds up incredibly well.
Yeah, and you don't really need any of the other movies in the franchise. I mean, Aliens, the second one, is good. It's a fine film. It's more of an action flick, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, really, you can throw the rest out with the bathwater, so to speak, and be okay.
Yep.
Especially Covenant. Ugh.
Oh. Yeah, no, I did enjoy Prometheus quite a bit. I think Prometheus is good. Good, not great.
It's fine. Everything's just fine. I have another week of a little bit of everything. Obviously, we have the show coming up. I've got a little bit of work travel that begins tomorrow, so I'll be doing a little bit of hotel room slumming.
Cool.
But doesn't sound so bad when you have a Nintendo Switch and Tears of the Kingdom to keep oneself company on those overnights in Hilton sponsored rooms. So I will be doing that tomorrow as I take off for Winchester, Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say the biggest downside of Tears of the Kingdom is that we're both responsible adults with kids when this game comes out.
I mean, that is true. However, mine are pretty old in comparison. Yeah. Like, I've got one that doesn't live here, and one with a set of car keys. So
yeah,
I'm good. it's all my work stuff that gets me.
I just mean I wish I was like late teens, early 20s when this game came out, and I could just play it 10 hours a day every day. The game is so fucking good, I can't stop playing it.
We'll have definitely more to dive into on that here in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is episode 119 of your Power Gamer podcast. As always, we would ask for your support in listening to the show. You can support us and only may support us by means which are completely free. We have not monetized the show in any way. So we just ask that you leave a nice review on whatever podcasting service that you're listening to us on, be it Spotify or Apple or wherever you might find our show. Maybe take a moment and give a little 5-star clickaroo to what we're doing here. If you're checking us out on YouTube, number one, apologies. I've been kind of a week behind because encoding videos for YouTube just takes fucking forever. But secondly, go ahead and just give a little click there on that like icon. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe you're in because we're discussing some news or things on a video game that you're interested in. Well, just stick your flag down, claim your spot, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us on this journey as hundreds of you do every week. We greatly appreciate you coming here and giving us an audience to listen to as we blast our sweet nothings out into the void. Without further ado, it's time to get this show started. We're going to start off this week's show the same way that we do every week by first discussing what we've been playing this week. Johnny, I took a first mantle last week, if I recall. Let's pass the baton to you, sir, to get things started here. What have you been playing this week?
Sorry, are we back? I had a weird connection thing there.
Oh, did you have a blip?
I did. I had a blip.
Okay,
so
no worries.
This week, I fired back up Jedi Survivor. That was this evening, actually, and I got to Jeddah. So I'm on to the next planet. I got a few of the crew back together. The badass chick from Dathomir, I don't remember her name, but now she's back on the team.
Marin.
And I believe we've been introduced to the big bad. The guy that they show in the trailer that's sealed in the Bacta tank is out, and then I think he's the big bad. But yeah, I mean, I know you were absolutely shouting from the rooftops how wonderful this game is. I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I was heavily distracted by Tears of the Kingdom, but we're back at it now. And then other than that, I finally have Tears of the Kingdom emulated perfectly on PC. I was playing on the Switch. I did the Fire Temple. I did a whole bunch of stuff. I had probably 20, 25 hours on the Switch, but now that I have it working perfectly on emulator, I just started a fresh playthrough, and I'm just kind of going in different directions on the map, so I'm not just tracing my steps and feeling deja vu the whole time. So I've got another 15 hours or so into it, but pretty much all stuff that I hadn't done in my other playthrough. So I've done a lot more of the geoglyphs. I've been doing a lot more stuff with Impa and the geoglyphs. I have been exploring other parts of the map that I hadn't been to. I finally found the Sky Island that had the dispenser for the steering wheel, the little steering stick thing. So now I can build the air bike that is all over TikTok, where it is literally 2 fans and a steering stick, and you can basically fly around anywhere. And that is apparently the number one way to explore the depths. So I think my next task is going to be to delve back into the depths, stick a bright bloom seed on the front fan, and just fly around and get all those routes and start charting that area out. But this game is so effing good. It is mind-blowingly good. I can't say enough great things about it, and that's probably going to be my commentary on this game for the next 3 weeks, month. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through it all, but I can't stop playing it.
I've cleared fire. No, I'm sorry, not fire. Wind and water at this point. So I have 2 more of the main temples to go, and have mostly pieced together the main world's map at this point. Yeah, the temples are much better in this game than they were in Breath. So I've been most pleased still. And yeah, if you tuned in last week where we kind of gave our first impressions, the first impression I think we both gave was this is just seminal. So Uh,
My youngest is rounding the corner on beating this game. He's done all the temples, and the last couple times I've walked past the TV when he's playing, I'm like, oh god, spoiler, holy shit. Okay, all right, no, you're good, it's fine. So like my Damon is he's gonna beat this thing probably next weekend.
I would think so, and it's really funny to watch how he plays because the amount of stuff that he skips is just
Dude,
insanity.
he's in there trying to fight end game bosses with like 6 hearts. It's ridiculous. He ignores the shrines. He ignores cooking. He just I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Persistence.
He's got his own he's got his own way of doing those games. Drives me nuts.
Just plows for the end point. He's just running for credits. Yeah, so you basically went through what I predicted would happen to me with Jedi Survivor. Is that I was like, I can't turn on Tears of the Kingdom until I play this game because I am just
yep
effed.
Now that I have it working emulated, I can stream it. I can play it at night while the wife's in bed, all that stuff. But the the PlayStation, my wife was enjoying the game, so she wants to watch me play it. So we sat down on the couch today, and she's like, "You're playing Zelda on the computer, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, just play Jedi here." I was like, "All right, let's go." So I'll be doing both until both are done.
I can't wait for you to finish Jedi Survivor because holy fuck mess. I'll just leave it at that.
I will be plowing through it for the next couple weeks.
All right, on to what I've been playing this week. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't need to say any more about that game. A new game came out this week that I've been very excited for. Very excited for. And that game is called Bolt Gun. Now, those of you who are invested into the ultimate pinnacle of nerddom that is Warhammer immediately know the weight of the word bolt gun. But for those that are uninitiated, the main weapon of the Space Marines is a bolt gun. And Space Marines treat their weapons as though they are holy relics gifted to them by their deity, who is their emperor, to purge heretics or anyone that does not align with the emperor. And they are badass fucking machines of death. So, great name for the game. That is Bolt Gun. Basically, you are a badass Space Marine on loan to the Inquisition, and you are heretic purging. And that's basically as far as the story goes, which is great because this game is a retro pixel style first-person shooter that is as brutal. It's more brutal than Doom. Like, when you shoot something in this game, you feel them explode every time. The speed of the game is faster than Rise of the Triad. That's a throwback.
Wow.
It is speed, gore, violence, and fury. And it gets better. So as you're zooming around the levels like an absolute murderous madman, you will enter areas where the room turns red and the music gets fucking brutal. And you just see these 2 words appear at the top, 3 words appear at the top of the screen. Purge mode initiated. And when you enter a room and it's purge mode time, the hordes of enemies in that room are fucking shitting themselves because they are trapped in that room with you.
Awesome.
And your job during purge mode is to slaughter some key boss enemies in that room while you also slaughter endless waves of smaller minions. And my God, the amount of blood that you will splatter against the walls that just lingers so perfectly as it drips down off the corpses as you're buzzing through with your chain sword, your bolt gun, your heavy bolter, which doesn't ever run out of ammo in classic old school style. You just shoot until the bitch is out of bullets. And oh my, that shotgun. Oh my. This game is special. And if you're into first-person shooters and liked the old days, the speed, the fury of games like Doom, Quake, Rise of the Triad, but want the violence cranked up to fucking 11, this is the game that does all those things for you. And here's what's better. It's $20.
Sounds like I need it.
This is a game that you should only play on PC or we're not friends anymore. Please, God, do not play this game with a controller. That is sacrilege. This game, you should almost just go and crack out a rollerball mouse to play with, because that is the vibe it's trying to put down. Another cool thing in this game, you can actually control how retro the game looks. It has shaders where you can customize the appearance to make it more or less pixelated to your taste. But the default settings, I find, really just do a wonderful job. So, is this the best first-person shooter that we're going to get this year? Probably. This game is wonderful. And if you're anyone who liked Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal that didn't get their teeth into the games back in the day, you need to play this game. And if you did get your teeth into games back in the day but want a perfected experience, you need to get your hands on this game. It's really good. Each level takes, roughly 15, 20 minutes as you get into the thicker levels. So you can just kind of pop in, play a level, go back, do something else, pop in, play a level, do something else. It's really fucking good. I can't recommend it strongly enough. So
sweet.
Warhammer Bolt Gun. Go get that game. I was able to get a discounted key off instant-gaming.com for $18.
Not bad.
And it is currently on sale on Steam, I think, for $19. As part of there's like this whole big Warhammer sale going on Steam right now. So please, for the love of God, if any of that sounds interesting to you, do not sleep on this game. Just immediately buy it. And the boss fights are fucking dope too. So
yeah, I'd never heard of this one, and when you messaged me and said Bolt Gun is the most Johnny Paulus game I've ever played, I went to YouTube and watched the trailer and was like, dude, he's not lying. This shit looks awesome.
It plays so like cool. Butter.
Yeah, I gotta play that.
It's running like out the gate like at 200 frames per second. I mean, it's just sure it absurd.
Is. Yeah,
really, really great. Really, really go check it out. Bolt Gun. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived to a special moment, because before you is one of the mighty few, the less than 2% of players who have played Redfall, who has now completed Redfall. That's right. So me and 10 pissed off game reviewers and Mandy have finally beat this game. And I've got some things to share on this. So I definitely, over my time with this game, some weeks I was saying I'm playing it on PC. Some weeks I'm like, I'm slumming it on the couch. I'm playing it on Xbox. Many of you out there are probably like me, where first-person games at a low frame rate make you motion sick. And I've, more often than not, been violently ill while trying to play it on Xbox because of the frame rate. So my first bit of feedback, I just want to say, and this is kind of like the dead horse criticism of the game, but dear Arcane Austin, if your studio isn't disbanded for this disaster, please do not ever release anything ever again that's a first-person shooter that runs below 60 frames per second. Sincerely, Mike Dawson.
Amen.
Because not only is it kind of shitty in 2023 to do that, but like that shit makes a lot of people sick. And like nothing's worse than, oh, here's this big exclusive. It's coming out on Microsoft Game Pass. It's from a first-party studio, and you're vomiting. Fortunately for me, I've got a 3080 sitting behind my Xbox Series X, and hats off to Arcane for making the transition between playing on your Xbox and your PC seamless, so long as you're playing within the Xbox ecosystem. For those that, for the two people that might have bought it on Steam, you cannot do that. So
yeah,
but you're already on PC, so who the fuck cares? The game is infinitely better on PC.
Okay.
Infinitely better on PC. However, that is not to say that this game isn't plagued with strange bugs. Strange bugs. Not normal bugs. Strange bugs. Not game-breaking bugs. Fixable bugs that are strange. Really weird bugs. Let me describe. When you're playing Redfall, at seemingly inexplicably random times, you will simply lose your ability to press the B button and crouch. Or press the X button and interact with something. Or you'll defeat a boss that's supposed to drop an item and literally nothing happens. Now, the answer to these problems is always the same thing. Thankfully, which is just reload the game and then voila, everything works again. So, yes, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? That is the solution to every problem in Redfall. The problem is the rate of which these things occur is super annoying. So you have to be very patient to even try to play this game, because you might encounter a situation where you need to pick up an item to complete a quest, and magically the X button has ceased to work. What's strange is that I have also seen this. I played the entire game co-op, and the functionality would seemingly lose. Sometimes just one of us, sometimes both of us. So it's really hard to figure out what's causing that. But yet it is a persistent problem that occurs. In terms of hard, bucked, black screen boots, I only had 3 over my 25 hours with the game, which isn't what I would call acceptable. However, considering everything else wrong with the game, I would say understandable is the better word to use. That brings us to the biggest head scratcher of all with Redfall. And that is the story. Now, when I tell you that Redfall has no story, that sounds like I'm being facetious, or perhaps that I'm not being fair to the game. Let me quickly say that I have tried to give this game every chance on the planet. And for those that have been listening to us for a long time know that I tend to have more patience with things than most other gamers. That I'm always looking for silver linings, that I'm always looking to give things the benefit of the doubt. I am the eternal optimist that wants everything to be good. I'm the guy that sat and completed Cyberpunk 2077 on a PS4 pre-big patch and had a great time with it. I'm that guy. This game literally has no comprehensible story at all. It was even so bad that you begin questioning your own sanity of why you don't understand anything that's going on. To where I opened up a Wikipedia write-up of the entire story, sat and read it, just to realize that I wasn't crazy. that it was really as nonsensical and full of holes as I thought it was. I don't know that I can spoil the game for you. I literally don't think I can spoil the game for you, other than by telling you the names of characters that have completely wild and meaningless interaction with one another. It's just talking that has no meaning, literally. It's really mind-blowing, man. It's really, really mind-blowing that nobody at any point in the development of this game, like, who the fuck got hired to do this? Like, we all have that one friend that comes into our Discord or comes into our chat spaces or our office or our break room, is like, hey, I wrote this short story. I'm trying to get into writing. You should read it. And we've read it and gone, oh yeah, that was great. And it's really fucking terrible. Like, that guy would have done an infinitely better job than what we were presented in Redfall. Because at least that guy's story makes some sort of semblance of fucking sense. Redfall's story is inexcusably bad. And that's a shame because it comes from a studio with some pedigree. You don't need to do much to make a story that works in a looter shooter. But when you're going to have a game about vampires, maybe you should fucking explain where the vampirism started or came from. If you're going to have vampire hunters just happen chance living in this town, maybe you should explain why. Were there fucking vampires there before? Why is this doctor murdering his child? It's never stated that she has vampirism, nor that he's looking for it. It's just so mind-bogglingly fucking incoherent that it's almost to the point where I would say it's shameful.
Sounds like it.
On the bright side, the gunplay is arcane. On the bad side, the AI is completely inept. There's enough good in Redfall that if you have a friend to sit and play it with, that it can keep you coming back to finish its relatively short campaign. You are going to clear this game in under 20 hours. The moment that you finish the game, you're going to uninstall it from whatever device you were playing it on. And you will never return to this game. Ever. It's very confusing. It's a very bad outlook for Arcane to go from, Dishonored, Deathloop, Redfall. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up with anything that we knew about the company. And it's a real shame, and the game's a shame. And I don't normally say things like this, but I would say, normally I'm quick to not take the side of a big publisher. So Microsoft in this instance. However, it's clear that Microsoft bought this studio. This game was originally in development for both systems. Microsoft really didn't have anything to do with Redfall. It's something they got for buying Bethesda. The people who made Redfall, shame on you. And shame on you for releasing this. And shame on the managers for hiring the people who wrote this. Shame on the QA people. Across the board, the number one word that I can think to describe Redfall is shame. And more than anything else, it's a shame for people who have bought into the Xbox ecosystem and have expected and deserve better. Redfall is a 4.5 out of 10.
Oof. That's your lowest score, I think.
Ever.
Yeah. Wow. That is painful.
I wanted it to be so much more.
Yeah.
I've stuck with it for a while, and the more I think about it, it's just unexcusable to put a product like that and ask, they've got an edition of this game they're asking $100 for. It's shameful that it was developed for PS5 as well, and that it had the cord pulled on that. Like, there's just so much shit that doesn't make sense with this game. It doesn't make sense that the people who made a unanimous fucking 10 2 years ago have any link to this bullshit. It's shameful, is what it is, and
doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, and the whole, Phil Spencer having to come out and fall on the sword on behalf of Arcane because we didn't do enough to manage that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't make a habit of taking up for big corporations that have, $80 billion to go swing around trying to buy Activision. But this isn't on Microsoft. And they're having to wear all of the shame that really belongs on Arcane and Arcane alone and Bethesda. Wow. So it's a bad situation. I don't imagine the game can ever truly be good because they would have to rewrite the whole fucking game. And at that point, what are we doing here?
Right.
Redfall is play it if you have Game Pass and a friend, and you can ignore a lot of the nonsense. There are fun moments to be had in that game. There really are, but it's just you'll more often than not feel upset that something that was such a good idea and has such a good framework laid down that they basically just decided to crap all over the inside of for no reason. So it's unexcusably bad. And that will be the last time I ever talk about Redfall that I can think of on this show. Redfall 4.5.
My uninstall button trigger finger is getting a little itchy right now.
4.5 out of 10.
I haven't even touched that game yet. Now I don't know if I want to.
You better have a friend to play it with. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough about Redfall and Microsoft. Let's instead move on to greener pastures that were hosted by Sony. So are we late to the party? Yeah, sure. It's just how it works with when we record our show.
Yeah.
But we're not going to rob you from our feelings about this PlayStation showcase. Oh no. We're actually going to provide you the most meaningful coverage of this that you're going to find anywhere, because we're going to skip all the bullshit and just talk about the good stuff. That's right.
Amen.
I know, and I'm real sorry that, some of you out there really want to have an in-depth discussion about foam stars.
We'll have a Foam Stars only episode soon, I promise.
And this really is the place where that's not going to happen. We're going to say a few words about it, but let's dig into it. Let's just start with the biggest first. Spider-Man 2. Lengthy trailer. Almost, in my opinion, too long.
Yeah.
But boy, do we have a good idea what this game is, what the vibe is, what it looks like, what the storylines are going to be. because we had, God, what was it, like a 15-minute long gameplay reveal that
Yeah.
had cutscenes and all sorts of stuff going on. So Insomniac's highly anticipated Spider-Man 2 was certainly the star of the show, and me and Johnny are both huge fans of the first Spider-Man game. And certainly there was some interesting things that we learned, which you would say are new, coming out in Spider-Man 2. So Johnny, get us started here. What was your general impressions of what you saw in the Spider-Man 2 showcase?
Well, full disclaimer, Spider-Man is my favorite fictional character in the history of everything ever. So to watch a trailer for a sequel of the best Spider-Man game and the best superhero game ever made, yeah, I'm a little pumped. I'm really excited to see that Craven is sort of the big bad. I'm also excited to see that we're going to go with the symbiote storyline, where Peter Parker has the black symbiote suit, but it is affecting his mood and his attitude and his swagger. I hope we don't get the stupid Tobey Maguire dance and we'll be okay. But no, this game looks incredible. I mean, it's the two Spider-Man games they've made in this series are two of the best superhero games ever made, and I mean they had my money without a trailer, but to give me 15 minutes of what looks just as good as everything else we've had from them, yeah, I'm beyond pumped. Take my money, I'm in 100%. I'm glad it's on my fantasy draft pick.
It's mine, actually.
Oh, is it yours? Damn it.
Yeah, it's my number one pick for the year.
Oh, that's right. I picked Tears of the Kingdom and you picked Spider-Man. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't get both, my dude.
No, I don't. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I'm very excited for this game, obviously. I was a huge fan of the first Spider-Man game. Yeah, but besides them just showing us so much of what's going on, I mean, certainly just some gameplay and some music in the background would have sufficed, but they more or less gave us a completely unlocked look at what's going on. Very a la E3 in terms of this reveal.
Totally.
Being very familiar with the I'll just say first game, because Miles Morales is sort of an expansion in my opinion,
right,
even though it is a standalone game. I really love that that there's an interchangeability even just within missions between Peter and Miles.
Yes.
Miles Morales is OP. Miles is Spider-Man. You know, you have the cloaking, you've got the electric shock.
Yep.
When you played Spider-Man Miles Morales after completing the regular Spider-Man game, you just wanted to be Miles. And one of my concerns was, well, how the fuck am I going to deal with going back and just being Peter after being Miles? And for some reason I didn't think, oh yeah, symbiote suit. Let's do that. So I don't know. I guess one of my questions is going to be is how much of this game are you symbiote Peter Parker?
Well, I think it would make sense for them to do the Venom thing. I don't think they've really shown Venom, but I think it would make sense that maybe halfway through the game, Peter figures out that the suit is bad for him and finds a way to shed it, and it goes into Eddie Brock, and then now we have another villain.
Right.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah. I also like how they do the design of the symbiote suit on Peter, that it's not, traditionally how you see it, it kind of just looks like a cloth suit until he uses symbiote powers. But this one looks very menacing the entire time. So, I'm very much digging the overall art direction, the overall vibe. I love, in the gameplay that we saw, these moments where it's like you're just bouncing back and forth between Peter and Miles and using their different abilities. I think that's really cool. I don't know if that's going to go beyond like the scripted feeling moments that we saw in the gameplay reveal trailer, or not. I would assume not.
Well, I would think there's probably missions where they have to do something and they split up. So one maybe Miles is in the basement and Peter's on the roof, and you switch back and forth to try to, hey, I need you to unlock this door for me, and then Peter unlocks it and you switch back to Miles, and now you can get the. I think there's going to be stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is, I don't know that it's going to be like an Ellie and Joel type thing, where they're always out together. I think it's going to.
No, I'd imagine probably not. It's probably different arcs.
Yeah, it'll be like sometimes you're Miles, sometimes you're Peter, and then sometimes there's these big crazy fucking sequences where you get to bounce back and forth and stuff that look cool.
I think it's going to be more like Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, well, and I certainly agree with that too, because there was a lot of speculation prior to the showcase that could this be a co-op game? Could one of you be playing Peter while the other plays Miles? And we have learned that is not the case at this point, which is fine. I think ultimately for the health of the single player experience, that's probably a good call. So
fully agree.
Any other things you wanted to point out on Spider-Man 2?
No, they already had my money, and they just further cemented that fact.
Next up, and this is huge. Like I don't. If we want to take a quick aside, real quick, for anyone that thinks that this was an underwhelming showcase, you are on fucking crack. Like, you're actually on crack. You're so fucking stupid. I can barely wrap my head around it, because I just don't know what rock you're living under. I've been watching these things for fucking goddamn ever. Spider-Man 2, and then Metal Gear Solid. Like, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's a Metal Gear Solid game. Have people just forgotten? Like, is there a segment of people that don't understand how big a Metal Gear Solid announcement is?
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake announced. And it looks, by the little bit that they showed, fucking crazy awesome. And this is big news, okay? Konami has been out of the game for a while. Basically, since the souring between them and Kojima after Metal Gear Solid 5, Konami hung it up and got out of the business. That was it. Other than licensing out their stuff for some collections and remakes and things.
Yeah.
And Konami is one of the big dogs, and they've just been gone. Well, this is them kicking the door in, saying, we are fucking back. Because a Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake, this is the third game in the series, which is actually a prequel to 1 and 2. So it's a perfect jumping off point for bringing new people in. And it's also considered by most to be the best in the series. Sometime this fall, we're going to get this. It was stated.
I can't believe they announced it, and it's this year.
Or rather, I'm sorry, the remaster collection of 1, 2, and 3 come out this fall.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I would imagine that we're going to see this game probably with a release date next year.
Probably.
They're re-releasing the classics, which, thank God, you're going to be able to get them on PS5 now. Sometime this fall, and it's just remastered versions, so not remakes of 1, 2, and 3, but remasters. So you'll be able to play the classic games on your new console. Fantastic. I mean, this is absolutely massive news. Metal Gear Solid is one of the biggest game franchises ever, and we have been missing it for a long time. Certainly I've had a lot to say on this, Johnny. Anything to add from you, or?
No, I think you nailed it. This is one of the favorites for most of the fans of the franchise that have played them all. And I mean, this is just another huge win for Sony.
Next up, there was a new hardware announcement at this showcase. The Project Q basically turns your PS5 into a Wii U. You have a literal PlayStation 5 controller with an 8-inch HD screen in between that works over your home network and allows you to play your PS5 anywhere the fuck you feel like in your house, on your couch, in your bed, out back on your deck.
Technically, remote play, you could play it anywhere. You could be on vacation. As long as you had a good internet connection, you could play this.
Well, absolutely.
You could play your PS5 anywhere.
Yeah. And for those that are willing to put up with that, more power to you.
Yep.
But for those that want a better, faster experience, more a la like I keep going back to the Wii U because of its lack of ability to just go anywhere like the Switch.
Yeah.
You know, the Wii U had the deck that you pulled off and, you know, it ran the console from the screen that you could walk around with, which, you know, when I played Breath of the Wild, I did a lot of it playing from just that handheld unit, and it was fantastic.
Same. Yeah. Same.
I think this is great. You know, it kind of, Sony has been out of handheld anything for a while, and I would love for this to be the start of something bigger for them. I would imagine that it would be, but we'll see. Still, it's a new hardware announcement from Sony. It was revealed at the showcase. And they also revealed their official PS5 earbuds. Assassin's Creed Mirage, we've learned the release date for it. For those unfamiliar, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the next entry in the AC series that is going back to more of the old school formula. So forget the RPG elements of the last 3 games. Strip it back down to what makes Assassin's Creed great, which is running around through the Middle East and assassinating people. You are playing as Basim, who, if you have played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will be very familiar with. If not, I don't want to spoil it because that game was fantastic.
Yep, agreed.
That Looks game great. Is coming October 12th. Johnny, are you excited for a more stripped down, back to basics Assassin's Creed experience?
The 2 things that make me very excited about this game, number 1, it's an Assassin's Creed game that doesn't require a 120-hour investment. That's awesome. And also,
one can assume.
A lot of people are forgetting that this game has a lower price point. This is not a $70 game. I believe they've said it's going to be $40.
That'd be awesome.
So, yeah. Give me a 15, 20-hour, 30-hour Assassin's Creed game for $40. I'm done. I'm in.
We've yet again seen Alan Wake 2. I think we've said enough about this game probably already on the show that
it was nice to finally see something, because I mean before it was a real teaser where it was just like, hey, we're making this game. Now we actually see a little bit of it, but yeah, no, I'm in. The first one's great.
It looks like it has that Last of Us kind of sheen to it. So. And we know that it's coming on October 17th.
Remedy don't miss.
Except once. But we don't talk about that.
Which one?
Their last game. Crossfire X or whatever. The games are...
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that doesn't count.
It doesn't. That's a free pass.
We don't count that.
So, yeah, Johnny, I don't know. This showcase was really underwhelming. You know, they announced a new the Spider-Man game and showed us like 15 minutes of it. We got a Metal Gear Solid announcement and then Final Fantasy. What a weak fucking showcase, dude.
Dude, I'm so pumped to see Final Fantasy 16 going back to actual fantasy. Give me fucking dragons and Ifrit knights and soldiers and kings and kingdoms, and I can't fucking wait for this game.
June 22nd, we get...
Take my money, I'm in.
The amazing-looking Final Fantasy 16 into our hands. This one was nice to see, up and running. Dragon's Dogma 2, which is a surprisingly very popular RPG series. I have not yet sunk my teeth into the first game. It keeps coming up where I'm like, man, do I need to. Every time I see people talk about it, they fawn over it. Obviously, getting a sequel after a decade is a fairly big deal. So I hope I get time to slice off and get into this. For those that don't know, Dragon's Dogma is the big, awesome fantasy series that belongs to Capcom. And for those, I guess, living under a rock, Capcom doesn't fuck around. Like, their fuck around, like, in Mist days are long gone now. And Dragon's Dogma sort of was at the beginning of the new Capcom when they came out of that 360 PS3 generation, having just fucking sucked the entire time. Dragon's Dogma was where they more or less started to turn that around. So, yeah, the trailer looks great. It's very excited to see this. I need to get into the series, and I know a lot of you out there listening to this probably saying, yeah, I skipped Dragon's Dogma. Now would be a good time to get back into it. It can be had for very little. Johnny, I imagine you're nodding your head, probably all the same for you. You've not...
Yeah, I've never delved into this, but the trailer looked great.
We have Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid and Spider-Man 2. Oh, and Bungie announced a new game. What a shit showcase. Yeah, Bungie has announced their new game. Bungie. They've been responsible for such, little forgettable experiences like Halo and Destiny. And also, prior to those, they made a little game called Marathon, which...
The Marathon trilogy.
Melted the fucking silicon off Apple computers everywhere.
Yep.
Marathon is a brutally fast-paced first-person shooter, very much in the vein of things like Quake and Doom and Rise of the Triad, which is... God, I've said Rise of the Triad like 4 times.
I know, we've mentioned Rise of the Triad 3 times.
But Marathon
now.
really was hand in hand with that generation of first-person shooters.
Well, so the original Marathon, I think 95 came out, like you said, on Macintosh, which back in those days there wasn't a lot of games on.
Halo
Mac.
was supposed to be a Mac exclusive. Fun fact.
And what's amazing about the Marathon series is, although it did not gain the notoriety that Doom did, it had a lot of firsts in the first-person shooter genre. It was one of the first games to offer mouse look, dual wielding, and reloading of your weapons. Like you mentioned, in a lot of the old first-person shooter games, you don't really reload your weapon. You just kind of shoot until you're out of bullets. This is huge. I mean, this was their first franchise. It was very a la Doom graphic style. Like, if you just go on YouTube and search Marathon and watch some playthroughs of the original games, I mean, graphically it was Doom. But this is their first IP, and so for them to come back now that they're under the wing of Sony, this is a fucking massive win for Sony. Massive win for Sony.
And to be clear, this is not going to be a PlayStation exclusive title.
It's not.
No. Bungie, although is owned by Sony, was bought with restrictions in place in terms of what Sony couldn't tell them to do. And one of the most important things that Sony can't tell them to do is where they can and can't publish their games.
Got it.
Bungie will always release their games everywhere.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is great. And as there was some shown in the showcase, but I actually went to Bungie afterwards because I'm very excited. It's going to be a full cross-play title, full cross-save title. So it doesn't matter where or how you want to play Marathon. You will be able to play Marathon. The thing that's going to turn a lot of people off is Marathon is deeply rooted in single-player campaign. However, this Marathon is just going to be a PvP experience, which I personally think is a bit of a misstep. It's nice that
I agree.
Bungie is focusing on the PvP elements of this, because as a former Destiny player, one of the things that was always frustrating with Destiny is that it's literally impossible to fucking balance that game. They are boasting that this game is going to be incredibly balanced. However, no single player component to it. So, and I'm sure at this point, where they're announcing it and showing the game, that will not change. So, excited for Marathon. Excited to see it coming back. A little disappointed that it's going to be a multiplayer only thing. Browsing through, we already knew enough about Street Fighter 6. I don't think anything was groundbreaking there. Jade Raymond, speaking of Assassin's Creed, we had reported probably, I don't know, about a year or so ago about the acquisition of Haven Studio, which had nothing to their credit other than having Jade Raymond in their pocket, so to speak, because it's her studio. So we finally got to look at the game that they've been working on. And that game is called Fair Games $. It's a heist game that looks like it looks like Payday sucked on a menthol vape and then posted a video of it on TikTok. I don't know. I'm not excited for this game.
I mean, I think there's room for another Payday, because I've never really been too enthralled with Payday. So if somebody's going to try to come in and say, hey, let's do that but better, more power to them. We'll see if it's any good. But I'm with you. It was a CGI trailer. We really don't know much.
Yeah,
yet.
one of the takes that I've had on Jade Raymond is that for as seminal as she was in the creation of Assassin's Creed and the development of Assassin's Creed, is that she has been pretty much invisible for the past decade. And
yep.
Yeah. I don't really know that I get excited to see her being a part of something at this point. Assassin's Creed, AC2, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. She was executive producer on Splinter Cell Blacklist. Watch Dogs, which I enjoyed. She was a director on Assassin's Creed Unity, on Far Cry 4. That's all the way back in 2014. She worked as executive producer on the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. Right. And Star Wars Battlefront 2, she was the senior vice president, group general manager, which means that she had not a whole lot to do with the actual game itself. And that's it. So, yeah, I know that we highly touted this name, having a female leader in the industry 10 years ago. But, I mean, to say that we're going to pick up right where we left off with a heist shooter that looks like what we saw in the showcase, I think would be a little foolish. So I wish all the best luck to Haven Studios. I hope they make tons of money selling their loot crate infested product that this is no doubt going to be, but I have no interest in it. Johnny, any thoughts from you on Fair Games?
Nope. My give a fuck-o-meter is like a solid 2 on that.
Talos Principle 2 is coming this year. That is a series that I have no familiarity with. So
same. I've heard they're great. I think it's a puzzle game. I've heard good things. Never
probably
played it.
More up your alley than mine.
Yeah, probably.
Just like Foam Stars, man. What would be really great is if we took that game Splatoon, removed all the charm from it, and rebranded it to put it on a different console that's not a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Jerry, you're brilliant. What do we call it? Foam stars.
The thing that's weird about this,
it's Splatoon.
Is it's well, no. Obviously, I mean, the moment you see it, you're like, okay, they're making a Splatoon for PlayStation. What's weird about this is that it's Square Enix. That's weird. Like, this seems like it'd be a what's like the Chinese company Nexus something that makes crappy games like this. Yeah. I mean, there's just this doesn't seem like a Squeenix title, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? It might come out and be. Amazing,
I'm sure this game's gonna be fucking huge.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just not for me. But I think it's gonna be massive. A game like Splatoon for everyone who's not on a Switch, massive. That's gonna be huge. Dude.
Yeah, we'll see.
And it's coming to PS4, so. Well, you were talking about responsible adulthood earlier. A lot of parents with kids, they're still playing those PS4s, and when they get something new, and I would imagine free to play,
probably free to play,
or cheap. It's a game for kids. I mean, obviously, you're just like Splatoon is. So
no, my kids are gonna eat this up, no question.
I think the game's gonna be huge,
no question.
The Plucky Squire looks really cool. I don't know if
this was one of my favorites.
I don't know if I've got time for it, but I sure do appreciate watching the trailers for this. Johnny, any thoughts on the Plucky Squire?
I thought it looked incredible, going between the pages of the book and then switching to 3D, and then there were so many different elements of moving on a 2D plane in a 3D spot. I mean, really cool little art tricks happening in that game. That was one of my favorite trailers of the whole thing. I thought it looked amazing.
Phantom Blade Zero looks dope.
Looks super dope. Who's the developer on this one?
I honestly do not know. I'll pull it up here, but it looks like a mishmash between like Sekiro, Neo, Dark Souls, just everything I want. The developer is S Game.
It looks like Wolong, but better.
Is this going to be a new Chinese dev? S Game. No, they've apparently been around for a while. I'll have to do some homework on them, but
okay.
No, the game trailer looks great. Very exciting. Certainly something that I would be interested in playing. So yeah, it was kind of my first look at this, first time ever seeing it. So, any thoughts from you, Johnny, on Phantom Blade Zero?
No, it was an impressive trailer for a new IP to come out of nowhere, and it looked like a lot of fun.
All right, so the rest of these here, I'm just going to give a quick call out to some of them. I don't need to go beat over the head everything that happened at this. That's just not our thing. But Ghost Runner 2 coming next year. Man, do I see the first one on sale all the time, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
Helldivers 2. The first Helldivers game is really good.
Never.
And this one looks very pumped up from the first one. Helldivers 2 should be a good game, and it might be a good time for you to check out the first Helldivers if you haven't yet. Sword of the Sea from Giant Squid.
I'm excited about that one because I like that developer. Abzu was really good, and the Pathless was really good.
I did enjoy my time with Abzu, the diving game.
Mm-hmm. It's a great game.
Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode for PSVR 2. Be very exciting for the 5 people that bought a PSVR 2. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 coming next year.
Yay.
More Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yay.
Neva. Never gonna get $1 from me. Coming in 2024.
Gorgeous art style. I don't know, man. This might be a sleeper hit.
I doubt it. We see a lot of beautiful games that we end up never playing and going, man, that sure is pretty. True. And then it comes out and it's like,
yeah.
Cat Quest, however, Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh my god,
My youngest was really
this
pumped on
this
this
game stole the hearts of many at this showcase. Very very cute. It's a continuation or a twist on the original Cat Quest. So another game that at least had people talking. I don't know that I'm personally interested in this, but Towers of, and here's where you lose me, is when you put a word in your fucking title that I have to slow down and say, can I even say this? And does it sound racist when I say it? Towers of Aghasaba.
Agasaba.
Careful now. Careful now. Don't want to get canceled trying to say this game name.
Yeah, the title's terrible, but the game looks interesting. We'll see. I don't know.
Like you have a glider like Breath of the Wild and some weird character that looks strange. Revenant Hill coming to PS4 and PS5. Again, for me, not interested in this one.
Black Cat walks across things. We didn't see the game, so we'll see.
Many people are very excited for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And Johnny, you being the JRPG nut.
Man, I thought this was a Tales game. I was 30 seconds into the trailer going, oh, this is the next Tales game for sure.
Ultros, the side-scrolling Metroidvania that usually those words hook me right away, and this one I'm just, well, I guess I need to see more.
Really? Psychedelic fucking Metroidvania didn't hook you? It hooked me. I want to play this game. Looks dope.
Tower of Fantasy. So that's another. I don't have anything to say on that one either.
Terrible name. Looks like a decent action JRPG. Time will tell.
I am excited to get the name of the new Firewall game, Concord, coming next year to PS5 and PC. Did you have any thoughts on Concord?
We know the title.
Yeah, there wasn't really much else.
They didn't give us much to go off of.
And then finally, I didn't think I gave a fuck about Immortals of Avium, but man, they really brought it with their trailer.
Fuck yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks surprisingly awesome, actually.
That's coming out like in 2 months.
Yeah, July 20th. We will see Immortals of Avium. So I think possibly a little bit of sleeper potential there. I don't think it's going to be a huge game, but this might have the ability to turn 1 million units. And I think that'd be a big one for something like this. What?
Or it might be Forspoken all over again.
I don't think that's possible. I don't think so.
No, the game looks good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So, to recap though, yeah, we've got new announcements from Bungie. We had Final Fantasy 16. We had a Metal Gear Solid announcement and a 15-minute gameplay trailer of Spider-Man 2. So, you just to kind of end the thought from earlier, if you don't think that this was a good showcase, stop watching showcases. Just stop.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching them so you can intentionally bitch about them afterwards. Because that's almost what it feels like at this point. That the people that are bitching, they think that's cool. Or they think that's what they should do. Is just bitch about it. And it's like, no. Don't. That's not necessary. If you don't think that this was a showcase worthy of your time in the year 2023, just stop. Just stop watching. You don't need to come to the showcases anymore. Just read a recap on IGN or whatever and leave it alone because you're never going to top this one. You're not ever. A Bungie announcement and a Konami remake of a Metal Gear Solid game in the same fucking showcase as new footage of a Final Fantasy game and Spider-Man. Yeah. You're never going to top this one. So if this one didn't do it for you, if you watch this one, your dick was still limp, guess what? It's not happening. It's not happening. Just
no. This was a fucking banger. There's no doubt about it.
Johnny, this of course brings us to our final segment of this week's episode. It is time for One Up. I'm curious as to what your One Up is. I'm familiar with the word, but perhaps not the usage.
So there's a new comedy show on Apple TV called Platonic. And it is, here's the pitch. Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne were best friends growing up. And when he got married, his wife hated her and she hated his wife, and they fell out of touch. So now Rose Byrne is married with multiple kids and living the mom life, and Seth Rogen is a brewmaster at a bar. Their lives are completely disconnected, but when she hears that he's getting divorced, she says, I should reconnect with my old buddy. And this show is fucking hysterical. If you like Seth Rogen, if Seth Rogen seems like somebody you'd want to hang out with, that's basically what this show is Rose Byrne, this sort of sheltered mother of three, kind of letting loose and having fun with her old best friend, Seth Rogen. The show is really, really funny. There's 3 episodes up so far, and it's one of the funniest comedy shows I've seen in a while. So if you're looking for something funny to watch, Apple TV, watch Platonic. It's awesome.
My one up this week, many of you messaged me about, and I want to first say that I've heard you all and acknowledge you here on the show. So thank you for all the kind messages about the new Lord of the Rings game, Gollum. Now, I know many of you were hopeful that this week you would have gotten some delicious sound bites about the unmistakable bar of quality that Nacon has published with their new game, Gollum. You were looking for a white knight in the shadows to pick up the mantle and carry it from Mordor. However, I did not have time to go buy Gollum this week, and I did not have time to play Gollum this week, and I did not want to rush my opinions of Gollum. However, this is your personal guarantee.
Oh, man.
I will buy Gollum, and I will play Gollum. I've been saying for a while that despite what everyone says, there's this shard of hope and care in my body that really wants Gollum to be okay. He's my precious. And perhaps he could be your precious too. But you need a reviewer to take that walk into darkness for you so that you can know before you bite off more than you can chew whether it is truly precious or not. So I will be buying Gollum. I will be playing Gollum. There is I didn't run out and buy it for one specific reason. And that is that literally the fucking dev made a post apologizing for how bad the game is. I was like conflicted. I'm like, should I pay full price for a game that the dev is apologizing for it being bad when it's only been out for 2 days?
Dude, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a game come out and the same week the developers come out and go, we know it's a big pile of shit and we're sorry. That's when it's not crazy.
Like the, oh yeah, it's got some bugs, we're fixing it. Like that was in there too. But the tone of it was, we're sorry this entire game is a piece of shit. And we're sorry that you bought it. Like they were apologizing to people for buying it. I'm like, I don't know that I should give them the 60 that they're asking for when they're apologizing.
Yeah, bro, I don't know on that one.
And then there's this other maniacal side of me that says, I absolutely should give them the 60.
No one else is going to do it.
I mean, like, at least 10 other people did. Or they might have all been people that they gave codes to.
Their phone board's going to light up when they're like, we got one. We just sold a copy in Maryland.
Get the security camera footage. We need to know who this man is. Bunch of...
Oh, fuck, he's a podcaster. God damn it.
Like, give him 10 more free codes to give away. Sir, we know that you're going to hate a lot about this game, but can you just say one thing nice? Yeah, I'm going to do Gollum. It's happening.
I can't wait to see it.
Just wait a little longer. I needed some more time. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this week's fine episode of the Power Gamer podcast. We're sorry we can't go on all night. We do have to end this. So, you'll have to wait and see what happens next week. Will Gollum happen? I'm going to need more to talk about than Tears of the Kingdom and to beat Redfall. So,
yeah,
I think this is a prime week for something like that to occur. So, we will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny
Tune
Paulus.
in next time.
Catch you on the flip-flop. You didn't say take care. You threw me off.
I do that sometimes. Ooh, yeah.